I'm Josh Klein.
And I'm Elise Hugh.
We host a podcast from Accenture called Built for Change.
Every part of every business is being reinvented right now. That means companies are facing brand new pressures to use fast evolving technologies and address shifting consumer expectations.
But with big changes come even bigger opportunities. We've talked with leaders from every corner of the business world to learn how they're harnessing change to totally reinvent their companies.
And how you can do it too.
Subscribe to Built for Change now so you don't miss an episode.
Today on CityCast Philly, the general election is Tuesday, November 7th, and Philadelphians will select our 100th mayor. This week, I'm speaking with both candidates to get to know them better and to help you make your choice. It's Wednesday, November 1st. I'm Trenae Nuri, and here's what Philly's talking about. Republican candidate David O. Welcome to CityCast Philly.
All right. Thanks for the invitation.
Candidate O, you're a former city council member, but for our listeners who may be new to the city, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm a very atypical kind of candidate. I am a Republican, and I'm kind of a Lincoln Republican. I like to really deal with policies and the implementation of what the law requires. A lot of our problems in the city is because the city government or those attached to it do not obey the law. What does the law require, for example? It requires equity in education. That's in the Pennsylvania Constitution. The law requires that people's rights are respected by law enforcement. You have to protect their rights. All of these things, transparency in government, which is the beginning of the problem. If people don't know where their money's going, what it's paying for, or what it's not paying for, how is government held accountable? For everybody from developers of luxury housing to the Sixers Stadium to affordable housing that's not being built. Like if there isn't transparency, there is no accountability. Without accountability, there is not responsiveness. I have been a big proponent of things that people find unusual in government, or particularly for a Republican, such as the creative arts economy. And so I do find myself kind of the odd person. But my policies and ideas come from my lived experience. My father was a pastor, started the first Korean American church here in Philadelphia. I'm born and raised in King Sessing, which is not an affluent neighborhood, went to public school. And what I want for the city is I want the city to be a place where people, one, can have stability, understand what their rights are, understands how to deal with one another, that we can live peacefully and harmoniously, and that this city be a place where people can achieve their aspirations. I believe that every person is somebody yet to be developed.
What's one thing or many things that you want voters to remember that you've done during your time in council? What's something that you've done and you want people to remember?
Yeah, I'll start with this. I did a veterans hiring tax credit. And so for returning veterans, if someone employs them, they get $5,000 off their business taxes for each year that veteran is hired, up to 3 years. And so that's $15,000 off their business taxes for hiring a returning veteran. What that does, by the way, is it retains employers who might be looking to leave our city because they are hiring very skilled people that have got a lot of training, who come in to fill those needs. And it not only provides employment for our returning veterans, but it provides stability of employment for people working in our city and hopefully expanding more jobs within that company.
Now, due to voter registration numbers in our city, it's historically been an uphill battle for Republican candidates. We haven't had a Republican mayor since the 1950s. What's your pitch to voters who wouldn't normally pick a GOP candidate?
Yeah, well, my pitch is it's time for change. Unfortunately, after years of elected officials getting elected because they are backed by a political machine, the machine becomes more important than the people. And so many candidates do not even really campaign to the people. They vie for the backing of the political powers. The political powers will bring them the money, the endorsements, the machinery for them to get elected. And then when those persons are elected, they serve the interests of the political system rather than the people. Because in order to serve the interests of the people, you would have to step on a lot of toes, and that is what makes up a political machine. And so I think people very much want to change. Without that change, we will not get to good schools, we'll not get to better libraries, we'll not get to good social services. I will say also this, because I think it's something that is really missed, and actually one of the reasons why I can win this race, right? It's odd, right? There are many people that are ignored in our city, because our city, being such a political city over so many decades, really caters to voters. And there's 1.6 million, roughly almost 1.6 million residents in our city, but only 300,000 Democrats will vote in the Democratic primary at most. So right away, who are you not paying attention to? 1.3 million people who don't vote.
I'm Josh Klein.
And I'm Elise Hugh.
We host a podcast from Accenture called Built for Change.
Every part of every business is being reinvented right now. That means companies are facing brand new pressures to use fast evolving technologies and address shifting consumer expectations.
But with big changes come even bigger opportunities. We've talked with leaders from every corner of the business world to learn how they're harnessing change to totally reinvent their companies.
And how you can do it too.
Subscribe to Built for Change now so you don't miss an episode.
Candidate David O., let's talk about some of your plans if elected. I've read about your plans regarding public safety and making Philadelphia a more business-friendly city. Why are these some of your key priorities for your administration?
Well, people in neighborhoods, they want convenience. And so to have a commercial corridor or a restaurant, a takeout place, a corner store, it's convenient for them. At the same time, it's an opportunity for people, hopefully in that very same neighborhood. Many people, they're just better off with their own small business as opposed to going to work for a major company. A lot of people can't get employed there. And some people, they have a different type of, a desire and temperament. They're more apt for small business. And small business cannot exist unless people in the community have money to spend. Small business cannot exist if it is inconvenient or dangerous, if people don't want to go out to the business, if they don't want to travel on public transportation. There are many of those issues. And so we need to look at our economy, because we need large businesses to pay people. And then those people support small businesses, which makes their life convenient. And we can improve, the quality of life. So small businesses also include, for example, music production. It includes videography. It includes wedding planning. There's many other types of small businesses, but, there has to be a market for that. And so a lot of people who have, let's say, a day job, they have other aspirations. And so while they are working at an accounting office, they're singing at night in a rock band. There's all kinds of
right. Yeah, this is the creative economy you're talking about.
Yes, creative or innovative or other types of economies. But I'm saying it's not just the dollar store. It's not just the dry cleaner. It's not just the auto body place. But those are great jobs for people, especially people from diverse communities that really don't feel that they have a fair shot at an equal opportunity in one of our regular employers. They want to be on their own. And especially for people who English is not their first language, they're able to simply exchange money for goods or services. And that's a way for them to sustain themselves and build a better future for their family.
Candidate O, who would you choose as the next Philadelphia Police Commissioner?
Well, I can't say the name. I have said in the past I have somebody in mind because that person has a job. And it's not settled with one person. It's just, I have a person in mind and, unless I'm the mayor, I can't make an offer and we can't have a serious discussion. But what I have said is this. I would prefer someone who has worked as a police officer and as a supervisor in Philadelphia. Someone who knows the difference between Kensington and King Sessing. Someone who knows the different cultures and what part of our city is, the Russian-speaking section, and what part is the African immigrant section, and what are the different cultures and nuances of a city of neighborhoods. Like, why are there different, attitudes and ideas? And what historically has been the problem in our city so we don't step on the same problem again and again.
Okay, so now let's talk about some more fun questions.
Yes.
Because it's a lot of issues that we've covered so far. Candidate O, what do you love about Philly?
Well, the thing I love about Philly, it's the people, right? We have just fantastic people. Even in our worst neighborhoods, even in our most difficult places, you have people who are just so resilient. They have just such colorful experiences. They are handling the best they can, and they're very inspirational. We are a rough and tumble city. We have some elegant places. We have some very sophisticated people, but just a regular old Philadelphian. Whether you're in North Philly or you're in South Philly, people are so plain spoken, and they have an edge on them. That's what comes from living in parts of our city. But once you're there, they really open up. They're very warm. They're humorous. They're funny. Philadelphians are plain spoken, and that's refreshing, right? They don't hide a lot. They tell you things, kind of like it is. If they like you, they like you. If they don't like you, they don't like you. And I have enjoyed the people, and the kids are wonderful. And we want to see them treated well. We want to see them happy.
Okay, before you go, I've got to ask you some rapid fire recommendation questions.
Yep.
We do a lot of recommendations on our show.
Yep.
So, favorite restaurant in the city?
Oh my God, that's the worst question. There are so many. Oh my goodness, I can't. I'm trying to think. And I always forget which restaurants. But let me say that there's a little Chinese place around 6th and Washington in the plaza called Shin Ki. It's a little divey place, but the food is so good. Every time I remember, that's a great place to go, and good prices too.
Favorite public park?
Favorite park? Well, it would be the Fairmount Park along the river. Just such a beautiful view and such a pleasant place to go, and just people going through there constantly, just going about their business, jogging, biking. I mean, it's a great place to be. And you look at the backdrop and you see Center City right above the art museum. It's a very classic look.
That's one of my favorite parks too. Favorite sports team?
Favorite sports team? Well, it's the Eagles. I like the Eagles, but it's tough, right? We have the Phillies, so we have great sport team. But you're saying favorite? I would have to say the Eagles.
Okay, favorite citywide celebration. So this is like you can think of like any Philadelphia tradition that we do.
I'm trying to think. I mean, there's a lot of citywide celebrations. I mean, the one that comes to mind right off the top is St. Patrick's Day.
Okay. And then can you give us a hack or some type of secret for living in Philly? And this is for those who are coming into the city or just moved. What's a hack for living in the city?
Well, I mean, mine would be unusual. I don't know if it's really a hack. I would say make sure you visit our ethnic communities, our immigrant communities, just to go eat at a restaurant. And when you go there and enjoy the people, you will make friends and you will start to be invited into a world of little festivals and events and art shows and cultural events, and you'll meet people and they'll share with you their experiences, and then they'll give you little insider tips into things that you can do and stores you can go to, and really make the most about living in Philadelphia. We are a city of neighborhoods, and it's so uplifting and gratifying to deal with all the different people and the authenticity of who they are.
Philadelphia mayoral Republican candidate David O., thank you so much for chatting with me on CityCast Philly.
Thank you very much.
For more information about David O.'s campaign, check out the link in our show notes. That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. Share this episode with a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to sign up for our morning newsletter, Hey Philly, to learn more about what else Philly's talking about. We'll be back tomorrow morning with a conversation with Democratic candidate Sherelle Parker. Bye.